Hey, what's going on, folks? I'm AutoMattock. I'm also live streaming on Twitch right now. I'm doing this video live, just like all of the Season 5 changes for the characters. I still got like 5 or 6 more characters to do, but I think I've played Gill enough to give some insight on how he works as a character. So we're gonna do a little more than just Twitter clips. Iceland setups, or like the whatever the floor. So Gill is complicated, but not really. I think it's just gonna take some time, just like any other character, to unlock his potential. And day 1, I lost like 6,000 points playing all ranked. Day 2, I started, winning a few times. Day 3, I started getting the points back. I went down to Super Diamond. Now I'm back into Ultra Diamond. And I feel like at this point, I can get to Master. And I can totally get this character to Grandmaster. Maybe, I don't know if I like him enough. Maybe we'll get to Grandmaster. With Sagat, my intention was just to get to like Diamond. But I enjoyed playing the character enough that I would get up to, I got up to 50k with Sagat. And y'all know, if y'all, I'm no stranger to saying how I feel about Street Fighter V Online and Street Fighter V in general. But Sagat made the game fun enough, and I suspect Gill is also going to make the game enjoyable for me to play and stream and teach other people how to play. So that I'm pretty excited about. I'm looking forward to playing him a lot more. So let's talk about what he has. He does not have an invincible reversal outside of critical art. His V-Skill 2 is a parry on frame 2. So if the opponent is doing a meaty attack, you're not going to parry it. And you also have to choose between high or low. And this parry, I'm going to go ahead and talk about parry. V-Skill 2 called blocking, you do have to choose high or low, but it's not like if Sakura does a crouching medium punch, I still have to parry that high. It's not considered a low attack unless it hits low. You know what I'm saying? So if I parry low, I'm going to get hit. But her low attack, absolutely. Like crouching medium kick, I do have to parry this low. So it's not where the hitbox is at. It's property of the move. The high attack is not going to parry this. You can also parry like projectiles, supers, critical arts, whatever you want to call them. But there's one thing about the parry that I haven't quite determined is true or not. And that is, if you're parrying multiple things, can you, like if there's many attacks happening at once, like a fireball, you're parrying the fireball, Sakura dashes up into something else, I suspect you cannot continue parrying. I think you'll get hit out of it. So what I'm talking about is maybe something like that. I may not be able to parry. Let's just see. That's not a good example. Maybe you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. It's a little bit tricky. Yeah, this isn't a good example, but maybe you get the idea. So, like, if Ryu throws a... Maybe I can do her fireball, right? Let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna try to uppercut after this. So what might happen is the critical art's gonna hit me. Oh, that's not what I expected. But that's the idea. I think in some of those situations you can't parry. If like the attacks are layered, I don't think it's gonna work. But at least in that situation it does. Okay. And you don't really have the time to parry. You can kind of match it. I think in some situations you have to pay attention to the attacks though. And it's gonna be difficult to figure out what needs to be parried once, what needs to be parried twice. There's some moves that I thought I had to parry twice, but it's only once. That's gonna take a while to figure out exactly how much a parry is required. And yeah, of course they can grab you out of this. They can wait for the parry and then crush counter you. The recovery state of the parry is considered in a counter hit state, just like any other parry. But the parry is good. I think you should, if you're playing Gill for the first time, I think you should start with V-Skill 2. Even if V-Skill 1 happens to be good in the matchup, I think while you're learning him, you should try parry first. And the reason why is because jump-ins. While you're learning the character, it's going to be hard to navigate neutral and manage the air. He does have a really rewarding anti-air with crouching heavy punch, and back heavy kick is going to be good against some cross-ups that are like on top of you. But this isn't gonna come easy early on because you're gonna be busy figuring out how to poke at them, how to use your normals, how to throw fireballs. So I suggest learning parry first, and then anti-air with parry, and then eventually your opponents will anti-jump, and that's gonna make your crouching heavy punch easier to anti-air with because they're gonna try to bait your parry. So I think this is really the start of like conquering online and neutral, because throwing projectiles, as much as I want to, no matter what situation you're in, the inclination of your opponents, especially online, at all levels, they're gonna hold up forward. So I think the first priority of Gill's footsies is standing over here and hitting crouch heavy punch. A lot like Urian. A lot like Urian. You just gotta wait for the anti-air and crouching heavy punch. So that's why I think V-Skill is gonna enhance that portion, so you'll be better off in the match. So yeah, that's how that parry is. I think you can involve it with neutral. So I think a lot of people assume like after you parry you want to hit crouching heavy punch, and for the most part that's true, but there's some attacks that will recover in time to block crouching heavy punch, and then if you parry something in neutral you might not be in range. So for example with Sakura, standing heavy kick, if I parry this I suspect that crouching heavy punch is not going to do its job. So what I might have to do then is medium punch. But medium punch is, I think it's 7 or 8 frames, I think it's 7, which is the same speed as crouching heavy punch, but at least you reach over there and you can attack this. Alternatively, if you need a fast attack, I would probably suggest stand light punch. This has more range than his other 4 frames. Stand light punch has more range and cancelable, but as you can see, this reward is not that good if you just hit stand light punch to tackle. And maybe we'll talk about some of his knockdowns in a bit. But for now, I think I should go over his normals, just his standard attacks, and we'll get to retribution, his lack of crush counters. V-Skill 1, we can talk about that a little bit. Of course, we got to talk about V-Trigger. That's what really makes everything happen. You know, if you're playing this character without V-Trigger, he's gonna suck, just like any other character that you're learning. If you don't know how to play V-Trigger, you're not playing the game to its fullest potential, and it's not gonna get you to, you know, whatever diamond, whatever rank. You're not gonna progress unless you know how to do this craziness. Let me just showcase what I think is correct with V-Trigger 1 at least. I think this is the right thing to do for now. But we'll get to this. You get Oki, corner carry, they're on fire, so you can do ice retribution. But yeah, let's talk about normals. Okay. So, Gill does have a 3 frame. His crouching light punch is 3 frames. But it only combos into itself without counters, and the range is kind of whack. So if you want 2 from here, it's not really gonna work. You can do jab, jab, tackle. I believe if you're close, no, that doesn't combo. if you're close, all you get is jab, jab, tackle, as far as I know. And if you have retribution, that's nice too. But for now, jab, jab, tackle. Now, if you're using it as a wake-up reversal, your intention is to get the counter hit. Like you normal recover, wake up 3 frame. And if you're getting a counter hit, then you can do the target combo. And then you get a tackle. That's a little bit better. Actually, you might get... I'm over here in the lab, don't mind me. You know that? Ah, that's not in range. But then you get then you can get another tackle. Hey, what up, Zen? Yeah, we're doing the Gill tutorial.
Ooh, did I arrive in time for the Gill tutorial?
I'm recording live on YouTube.
Freaking at AutoMattock is the go.
Automatic to go.
Lesson 3.
Okay, so standing light punch, without counter hit, you don't get a whole lot of reward. With counter hit, you don't get a whole lot of reward. But if your opponent has retribution, if they have fire buff, then you can go into ice. And then from here, you can get, I think, the red fireball, right? I actually forgot. Let's see, with tackle. Yeah. That's one option at least. Well, we'll get to that. So retribution, we're not gonna get there yet. I just want to point out 3 frame, non-counter, you get 2 tackle. And I guess with that in mind, we can talk about the tackle knockdown. It's not good. So when you dash up on the tackle knockdown, you're only +2 against normal recovery, right? +2. And that's either fire or ice. They seem to be identical with everything except for their damage and stun and retribution or not. So you dash up and you should be +2 if you do it correctly. Now what I suggest in this position is stand light kick if they normal recover, but you don't get a great follow-up. Only if this counter hits you can get crouching medium punch. If standing light kick counter hits you get crouching medium punch. But if it doesn't counter hit, I suggest probably stand light punch and then tackle again, which is not amazing. This is not like the best conversion, but he does have good conversion. So I should demonstrate. When I do stand light kick, normally you can do target combo, but at that normal recovery it whips. So that's no good. So just that, okay. And then if it counter hits, you can get crouching medium punch. So then this can be okay, right? This crouching medium punch, activate, and then do what I just demonstrated before. This is okay. This is V-trigger 1, by the way. So the problem why this knockdown is not that good is because back recovery is too far away. So if you do get the situation and they back recover, you don't have a whole lot. Crouching medium punch will reach, but then if they normal recover and you crouching medium punch and they mash, they're gonna counter hit you. So you're just not really set up for a lot of options after tackle. And I think there's a reason for that, and even that's too far away. It just depends on how this tackle hits. So there's not really a whole lot you get after tackle. You just go back to neutral. So what might be in your best interest here is you put them in an element. So, for example, if I do this, and I put them on fire, and then I do this, I want them to be iced. And I'm gonna need medium tackle, and then it'll be light tackle, so they'll be pretty far away. So I think what might be the case here is something like this, and then they normal recover, and then I want them to be iced, and then forward heavy kick, and now I have a good knockdown. Forward heavy kick is a good knockdown, as well as standing heavy kick. I think forward heavy kick is a little bit better. Forward heavy kick is a better knockdown, but they both give you good knockdowns as far as normal and back recovery. So that's pretty much crouching jab. That's pretty much crouching jab. If they dash at you, then you can use that to check, and maybe you'll get the counter hit, but they might be a little too far away. So for like example, dash or crouching light punch. Come on, Sakura. I need you to cooperate. There we go. Now let me get back over here. Let me react to the dash. Dang! Dang! But you kind of see what I'm getting at, right? If I get that counter hit. So this will be a little bit better than 4 frame. So maybe I can't even get the counter hit. There we go. It's kind of hard to get. There we go. That's okay. But I might even still suggest just doing 2 light punches. In case you don't get the counter hit like that. So yeah, that's his 3 frames. So we can talk about his 4 frames while we're here. And yeah, crouching light punch, I would not suggest in footsies as a buffer tool. It's just not, I don't think that's the point of it. However, the 4 frame, standing light punch, standing light kick, crouching leg kick, we'll get to later. I think this is for the chain combo mostly. And then that has to do with V-trigger. So, stand light punch, stand light kick. Yeah, I'm gonna write a guide for Gill, Zen. That's kind of like what I'm doing right now, you know. So, stand light kick and standing light punch. These are both 4 frames. Standing light punch has more range than standing light kick. It's a little bit more range. Say this hits and that doesn't. But standing light kick can be okay against low pokes. So for example, Sakura is doing crouching medium kick. This might not be that good, but then stand light punch is more like stand light kick is more likely to connect here. And you can buffer this into light tackle and EX tackle. Whoa, Zen! 10 million gifted subs. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm a little busy, but thank you. Thank you for your big time support. I still remember when you donated big money for that Colin guide. Thank you very much, sir. And welcome to the laboratory, 10 people. Thank you. Okay, so stand light kick is going to be okay against these low pokes that have the low hurt box. But stand light punch isn't going to be really there. Use the inputs. I can't really use this the same way, even though this has more range. And I want to point out that this isn't really that strong. This whole process, because I just, you know, the knockdown is not that good off of the tackles unless they have retribution. So either you're buffing retribution or you're comboing because of, you know what I'm saying? Okay, you want them to be in an element off of this, and then now I want to buff the fire tackle, which is like this. Oh my god! Fire. Okay, now ice tackle. If they hit you, they lose the element. Oh. Okay, here we go. Dang it! There we go, and now I get the tackle off of that. Well, I probably want to do forward heavy kick there for a better knockdown. Unless they're near the corner. Okay, so those are the light buffers. I don't think they're very powerful. I don't think they're incredibly strong. I think they're more for the confirmation. So standing light kick can link into the target combo, which gives you the medium kick tackle like this. And I think this is the route to go, unless it counter hits. If it counter hits, you get crouching medium punch, and then you get a little bit more options. And both of them can tick grab. You can use both of them for tick grab. Stand light punch, grab. But stand light kick has more advantage, so I would suggest stand light kick. And not to mention, stand light kick, when it counter hits, can get crouching heavy punch. Crouching heavy punch is one of the big keys to unlocking Gill's potential, because that helps you buff. I don't know how to describe it. It helps you put them on fire or ice and get a good knockdown. And we'll talk about this more later. But this is the example, right? I get fire, and then I can do another fire move. Just for example. Just for example. This puts them on fire, and then I keep them on fire. I get a good knockdown, and now I can start to use this. And now I get more stuff on it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is such an important concept for Gill. Back to these normals. Crouching light kick. I guess I have to talk about V-trigger activation if I'm talking about crouching light kick, because by itself this move, it's okay. It's not exactly like Rashid's crouching light kick in neutral, but this is not really what you do with it. You do get a confirm off of it, right? You can link it to crouching light punch and get the tackle, so you do have a low option for the confirm. But I don't think that's what this is really good for. I think if you are playing V-Trigger 1, or both the V-Triggers, you can get a good activation off of it. But with V-Trigger 1, you can buff fire without spending meter. So now they're on fire, and I get a good knockdown off of this. And I can even spend a little bit more. And this is just more damage. And if I want to spend more bar, my red bar, this is a good knockdown, and I have them on ice. That's really what I think this target combo is for. It's for V-Trigger 1 or the activation. You can also do target combo and then activate this. And then if they block it, you are definitely vulnerable. This is -9. You can do the next option, which is -4, but there's a big gap in between this. So for example, Sakura can interrupt here. Yeah, so like this. Well, I guess I gotta do this to demonstrate. There's a gap between those two hits. So that's just totally unsafe. You gotta be careful with the spacing on that. So if I do this, it's mostly a read that you're gonna not block low, and I'm trying to get the ward on. And you can also, I don't want to talk too much about V-Trigger, but you can super off of this, and it has different properties when it retributes. It has different properties with retribution. And then the second portion of this, you can also super. I think the spacing is a little weird though. You can super here, but unless it's retribution, I don't believe you can juggle from it. So that's all I want to talk about with this crouching light kick. I think it's only for the chain in combination with V-Trigger. Okay, so we talked about light attacks, 3 frames. Buffering the light attacks. That's I think pretty much sums it up, right? Jab, jab, stand light punch. That's pretty much it. And also stand light kick. This is also a frame trap. Stand light kick is the crouching medium punch. This will frame trap. The crouching medium punch is -2 on block. So you have to combine this with something else, right? This is, I think, wait a minute, that's +1? Word? I don't think that's +1 on block, is it? That's +1? I didn't know that. And you can do that. Oh, wow. That's too far away. Let's talk about these medium attacks. Medium kick is pretty straightforward. This, I think, is one of the most important normals as far as poking. It has good range. I think it's 9 startup. Yeah, 9 startup. But the reward is not really there. That's all you get. You hit medium kick and that's it. Activation, you can get toward heavy kick and tackle, as far as I can see. But this is good. This is really important, especially with Ice Fireball following behind it. Oftentimes, if you dash too much, you won't have advantage. So it's really going to depend on the spacing here. So walk up, medium kick. This is decent. It's okay. This is really kind of what he needs. And this also reminds me, I want to check the ranges between this and crouching heavy kick. I think he's gonna have more range with the medium kick. These are okay. Yeah, about the same range. Obviously, crouching heavy kick is gonna be unsafe. Maybe a little bit more reward. You do get a good knockdown off of this crouching heavy kick, but yeah, medium kick. That's about it. If you activate and you're far away, you're using it as a poke. You can get forward heavy kick, and you can cancel into the V trigger 1 stuff. Also, V trigger 2. So V trigger 1, if you do forward heavy kick and this, it's not always going to be in range. And then you can do forward heavy kick and then the projectile, and that'll combo if they're standing. But that's not exactly that great. If they crouch, it's not going to combo. They have to be standing. Did that hit right? So that didn't combo. But with V trigger 2, you can actually use this with forward heavy kick. Right? So like this, that combos. So now medium kick can use these two things. You can use these two things together. Forward heavy kick, medium kick, forward heavy kick, and then the ice. But this ice, not really that good of a knockdown. But it does establish a lot of space, which can be good for V skill 1. And I know I'm going back and forth a little bit, but I just want to demonstrate that if you create space with V trigger 2, it might help you set up projectile stuff. Now you have this. You put that out there. Now both V triggers, I'm going to talk briefly about this. You can now do projectiles and V skills together. Without V trigger, you can't do this. So now you can use both of these. The same is true with fire. So maybe you can use that. I forget the neutral heavy punch plus heavy kick with V trigger 2 to create the space to start this. I don't know what you want to call it, the projectile stuff up. But you can do the same with red. And this is actually why I also picked fire to begin with, because when you're in V trigger, whatever element your V trigger is, if you use that element in your special moves, it's going to reduce your V trigger timer. So I'm in fire. If I do a fire attack, it's going to take away from my V trigger. So my idea was to do the ice fireball since it's slower, and then combine that with the V skill. And I'll be able to do this for a long time, right? It's going to be a slower projectile, and I'll be able to use this, you know? And you can also have this on the screen too. So you can use this. If they jump over your firewall, you can't throw another one, but you can throw this out there. So you always have like some kind of projectile options in this situation. And the V triggers have more to offer than that. But let me bring it back. I'm getting ahead of myself. So we talked about medium kick. We talked about standing middle kick. It's all right. I think this is about as good as it's gonna get as far as a conversion. And also tackle, can tackle. And whatever element you're in, you can use that tackle to buff that element, and you can get retribution later. So medium kick activate, and then tackle. Or if they already have an element buff, medium kick, and then I kick tackle. Then I get probably just projectile there, the V trigger projectile. Oh, my neck, my shoulder, my trap. Oh, I've been streaming too much. I should do a part 2. Okay, so that's medium kick. Medium punch, standing medium punch. You can buffer heavy lariats off of it, right? Still not a good knockdown unless you have retribution. And this is kind of hit confirmable, but if you do it too late, it won't combo. I learned that the hard way. That didn't combo. If I buffer it too late, it will not combo. You know what I'm saying? If you hit confirm the medium strength lariats, then they will combo always. But like if you do it too late. But I think you want the heavy lariats. It's really not that big of a I think they do the same damage, don't they? At 60. Yeah, the strength doesn't matter. You just get more corner carry out of it, but the knockdown is gonna be the same. Yeah, that doesn't combo. So even though you don't get a good knockdown off of this, I still might suggest dashing up or throw the ice fireball, the cryokinesis. Like this. And then follow up behind that. That might be okay. But yeah, as far as medium punch, as a meaty, it's okay. But for example, this was happening to me a lot. If you get this tackle knockdown and they normal recover, if you try to use medium as a meaty, it's not gonna work because you're only +2. That doesn't work. So you have to use that standing like it, which does counter it into stand medium punch, but this is not a frame trap. You know what I'm saying? This is not gonna be a frame trap. That will be, and this will be. Or 2 of them. That works. But medium punch as a meaty can be really rewarding. You just gotta find it. You just gotta find out where you can do it, and that's where crouching heavy punch is gonna have. Crouching medium punch is gonna have a. Crouching heavy punch is gonna have a lot to do with that. But by itself, it does link it to crouch medium punch, and this is really helpful for activating and buffing red or pyro. So at a distance, yeah, it can be okay. But I just want to show you, it does seem to be kind of weak against counter poking things and then buffering the tackle. It doesn't seem very strong in that manner. Maybe it's good if you throw bait with it, like this and then like that. That can be okay, but maybe crouching heavy punch is better, right? I've been doing crouching medium punch a lot, but I think I need to switch over to stand medium punch, even though it's 1 frame slower. I don't think I have throw program, but I think you get the idea. They throw here, and then you hit medium punch, and then heavy tackle. That's gonna be mess it up, but I think ideally you want crouching heavy punch to beat throw baits. But you gotta get them to throw and not mash, which is gonna be like this, I think, or two stand light kicks. I think is the best. This is probably like his best frame trap. 2 stand light kicks. How do you find a frame trap? I'll answer questions later, but you just gotta look at the numbers, startup, and how plus you are. So let me try to demonstrate the interaction between like footsies and then stand medium punch, because I don't think it's that good. I'll try Sakura's medium kick. I don't think it's very good for this kind of situation. It can work out. I don't want to say you should never use this, but it's really slow and the hitbox doesn't seem too good as I'm hitting things. Okay, maybe Sakura's medium kick isn't that strong. Maybe I don't know how to use it well enough online, but I don't think this is super powerful, but I think you should be aware of it. Yeah, that's good. When it hits like that, it's good. But this I don't think is particularly powerful. I would prefer light buffers, but this might not be the situation for it. Yeah, it's not like gonna be G. It's not like gonna be G. It's not like it's going to be like G. Like light kick into EX up smash, V trigger activate. He's not gonna be able to do anything like that because you can't buffer, you can't lariat and then V trigger activate. So yeah, medium punch and then buffer heavy lariats and medium lariats for like hit confirms. Those are okay. And it does have less range than crouching medium punch. Standing medium punch has less range than crouching medium punch. But I think it causes more hit stun and it doesn't move you forward. So this can be better if you're close with this kind of idea. And you have to mix that up between the fire and ice so that there's a tighter frame trap in between it. This is okay. This is okay. It's not like super powerful. And there's gonna be answers. Eventually people will start using their projectile invincible, their plethora of projectile invincible moves against it. So yeah. Crouching medium kick. You cannot hit confirm this. I'm pretty sure you cannot hit confirm this. Crouching medium kick can go into medium lariats. But I don't think you can hit confirm this. If you whiff punish with it, then you can confirm into it. But I don't think you want to depend on this being hit confirmed, because lariats are unsafe. These are all -6, right? At least -6, and they can get like -4 if you space them well. But this is not something I suggest doing immediately because they're unsafe. So medium kick into lariat, not the best. You know what I'm saying? But what you can do with crouch medium kick is something that Ryu has been wanting to do for like 3 years. Do low forward fireball. It doesn't connect at all ranges, but EX I think will connect, right? At many ranges. This is good. And it's also gonna buff fire. But I feel like you have to find a balance between being greedy and not, in terms of buffing whether they're on fire or ice. You can't do that with ice. You can't connect it. Ice is too slow. That will cause retribution, but this isn't gonna combo. You know what I'm saying? I think it's easier to buff fire than ice. I'm pretty sure that's the case. And it's only because of the projectiles. Yeah, this is easier to do and it's safer than this. But if you happen to buff ice, I guess you can be ready for it. I was thinking about this earlier. If I happen to get them buffed on ice, then the low forward fireball is going to give me retribution, right? Yeah. So if they're on ice, I'm over here laughing. I'm supposed to be talking about Gill. The low forward fireball. I can probably get some stuff here. Maybe only tackle. Yeah, okay. So yeah, crouching medium kick. It's just like you would expect to use it. Low forward fireball. If you whiff punish something with it, you want to tackle. That's pretty much it. What about activation? Plus 14? You actually have a lot. You get heavy punch. So if they're on ice and you low forward activate, you get heavy punch, crush, retribution, and then more things. Dang! Hold on, give me a second. If they're on ice, by ice tackle, ice tackle, this, boom. That's not going to be a retribution. Okay. I'll get back to... What am I doing? Why did I alt-tab? So we haven't talked about crouching medium punch. Crouching medium punch is faster than stand medium punch. Crouching medium punch is 6-frame startup, and it has more range. I think this is the party starter with Gill, and that is red fireball activate and then dash up. You have advantage. You actually, I think you have like too much advantage if they block it. Plus 10 after the dash there. So yeah, I think that's a frame trap in the stand heavy punch. So I never thought about this. You can do this, and then maybe ice. Or how much is the red fireball? We have it buff. -4 still. There's plenty of things you can do here. I don't know how to talk about that move. That move is weird. You can make it plus on meaty, and you can do cross-up stuff with it. V-trigger too. Okay, so that's pretty much it for crouching medium punch. It links from standing medium punch. Alright, links from standing medium punch, and then you can get tackle, the medium lariats, not tackles. I'm still trying to fix that. You can get that. That's pretty much it. You could buff tackle, buff lariat. You know what I'm saying? You can buff it with one of the EX. Other than that, that's pretty much it. Up close, it's -2. Just to repeat that. And yeah, like stand light kick into this will frame trap, so you can do this also. And 2 of these, 2 stand light kicks. I need to do that more. It's 2 stand light kicks for pressure. I've been doing some goofy stuff, like just trying to feel it out. I think that's it for crouch medium punch. I might use this as a whiff punish if I can find it, because it has range and it's faster. Well, it has more range than stand medium punch, but I don't think this is an excellent whiff punish. Especially because the reward is kind of low unless they have unless they're on fire or ice. Because all you would get is a tackle. If you have EX Fireball, then that's really high reward. This is super good. But it's just you gotta find the range for it. You can actually do standing medium punch twice. If it counter hits. And let me get it. I got it. Yeah, if this counter hits your +4, that is true. This is something to be aware of. And you're +4 here, you can get stand light punch. I haven't checked if stand light punch is more damage than... No, these are the same amount, this is the same damage. So then I think you would do standing light punch for the counter hit because this has more reach. This has more reach. Very minor thing, but good to be aware of. And I think that's it for the medium attacks, right? He doesn't have anything special like forward or heavy, or forward or back medium. We got the target combo already. Well, this target combo, I kind of already explained this one. Stand light kick in the target combo. I think that's all that's really good for. Okay, we'll get through heavy attacks. This is gonna take a little bit more, but that's all right. And the reason why it's going to take a little bit longer to explain, because the heavy attacks are associated with retribution, because they have their own element involved with them. As do the jump-ins. Jump heavy punch is ice, jump heavy kick is fire, standing heavy punch, fire, standing heavy kick, ice, it whips on crouching opponents, forward heavy punch overhead. It's actually kind of fast, 22 frames. ice, forward heavy kick, fire. So it's gonna take some memorizing because they're like the reverse. Like if you just hit heavy, it's gonna be fire or ice. If you hit forward heavy, it's gonna be the opposite, fire or ice. So it's still taking me a while to realize it. There was a couple matches where I had them like on fire, and I'm like, oh man, do I hit heavy punch? Do I hit forward heavy kick? All right, I'm gonna do retribution. Oh man, that's fire and fire. I gotta do heavy kick. And then it took me like a few days to, you know, think of these things. But yeah, back heavy kick as well. Back heavy kick is more of a cross of anti-air. You can also do it here while they're in fire retribution, and that'll combo. You can do this. I don't think there's a whole lot to back heavy kick other than it's cancelable, but it whiffs on crouch. It does not hit crouching opponents, and neither does standing heavy kick. But the range of standing heavy kick is okay. Let me slow down. Let me do one at a time. So heavy punch. Heavy punch is fire, and you can hit confirm heavy punch on its own. You can link off of it. We'll get to that. But you can easily hit confirm heavy punch into a heavy lariat. I'm looking at the stun bar. You can just confirm it pretty easily. You have a lot of time to see this. So as far as distance, it does have more than medium punch. I don't think it has more than, I don't know. I actually don't know. I think crouching medium kick has more. It's harder to assess this by doing this. But the range is okay. Maybe it has more than crouching medium punch as well. But he moves forward, so it's hard for me to test it like this. Yeah, I think it has more range than crouching medium punch. Let's turn this AC down. So this move can be used in footsies, but it's really risky because it has a lot of recovery attached to it. But if you have a good idea of when your opponent is attacking, you might be able to clip them and then confirm into a lariat. And that lariat could be like the retribution effect, right? If I'm here, I have to be thinking, I gotta do ice lariat if I confirm this. Here, I'm gonna get all kinds of good stuff. If I have a V-trigger, this particular situation, like they're buffed here, and I do this. Hold on, let me just have them not do anything. So if they're buffed with fire, I get the heavy lariat confirmed to get V-trigger. This is V-trigger 1 type thing. You can do this meterless. So they're buffed with that, and then I do this, and I get this. I should be able to get a tackle after that. That's gonna rebuff fire. Like so, like so. And then I get an ice tackle, and then I can do that. And if I have the meter, I can super off. That's ridiculous.
Time to return to
That's so ridiculous. They're on fire now too, but they're taking extra damage in that whole process. That's ridiculous, man. Did I have meter? Did I spend meter there? I didn't spend any meter, did I? That's so crazy. This character is tight. I didn't spend meter there, right? So they're buffed with fire. Hit confirm this. I was thinking that. And then that. And then this. I think I have to cancel here if they're not in the corner, though. Oh, they had to be in the corner, I think. But I didn't use any meter there. That's crazy. Yeah. Okay, so heavy punch on block is -2, but you can cancel this. It seems like light fireball actually does not frame trap, and neither does EX, but it combos. This does combo, and you can buff ice this way. So if there was a reason that you wanted to buff ice and then activate, this can be it. And that's gonna buff. I haven't gotten to that part. I've been using V-trigger 1 mostly. So I usually activate with fire. So my crouching heavy punch buffs retribution there. There's also more combo routes you can do. I'm still trying to determine which is the best one here. There's a lot of cool things you can do here. I find myself in training mode just doing combos because they're fun to do. With Gill. This, and this, and then this. I like the other one better though. But yeah, heavy punch is -2 on block. This can be okay in the corner.
I shall persevere.
I kind of like it in the corner. It's gonna take a while for people to catch on, but I like this. So as you can see, it can be interrupted, but this kind of pressure is interesting to me. Because I can also do the red fireball, and if they interrupt that, they're gonna get hit. And if I space it correctly, I'm gonna have advantage and I can follow up with it. So, for example, Sakura's doing that 4 frame. If I do this and she gets hit by it, I think there's gonna be a spacing that I can combo, maybe stand light punch. No, not quite. I know you can make this +6. There it is. Just gotta be the right spacing. And then from there I can get the ice tackle. This is gonna be really tight to get it. There we go. And then whatever you do from there. Yeah. But yeah, that's also associated with that standing heavy punch. And then they're on fire. So that I think is good. And of course, when when the heavy punch has retribution, and you're close, so if they are on ice and you hit heavy punch, it'll cause retribution, and you'll get the crouching heavy punch, which we also have to talk about for sure. I didn't even mention crouching heavy punch is ice, crouching heavy kick is fire. You get a hard knockdown off of that state. So if this connects, they cannot normal or back recovery off of that. Same with overhead. If they're on fire, the overhead, I'm sure you've seen all the setups on Twitter with the ice stuff. Okay. So that's about it for standing heavy punch. Other than you can link off of it when you're close, you can get crouching medium punch. So you can do the full idea. I like this combo the most as of right now. And I also like doing it. That corner carry is ridiculous. And they end with fire. And then stand heavy punch activate might be alright. On block, looking at more than 10 plus. It looked like 11. So you got advantage there. Let me see if I can do it at max range and then walk up a little bit. Not really. That should frame trap. Yeah, I do too. Then 8. Do it again. You can probably be close enough to link a crouching heavy punch. This counter hit. Yeah, I like that. Keep it simple. Yeah, stand heavy punch. It's good. It's alright. They don't crouch counter, but it's good. Just gotta have them on ice for the retribution or link crouching medium punch. So yeah, that's enough about heavy punch. Forward heavy kick is one of his longest range pokes, but it's -6. But if you space it well, even Sakura's 4-frame light kick is not gonna punish. So this move I think is really important in combination with the cryo. With the light cryo, it's gonna help you play neutral without having to dash up and get pressure. +8 there though, and then +6. That ain't bad. I should probably do this more. This and maybe heavy punch. Yeah, that ain't too bad. Oh. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. And then hit confirm it. You know the drill. When I'm making tutorials, I'm also finding out new things for me. How am I today? I'm doing alright. I'm a little tired. I've been speaking for like 40 hours this week. But I can't really look at the chat too much right now while I'm doing this. But I do appreciate you. Thanks for asking. Been binging the YouTube. Nice. Nice. Okay, so standing heavy punch, I think I mostly got that established. Also, you can probably use this for throw baits as well. But I wouldn't be too crazy about it. Probably medium punch is the best for throw baits because you get at least the frame advantage off of it. And if you can see it, then crouching heavy punch. But okay, back to heavy normals. Heavy kick does not hit crouching opponents, but it's okay. If they're on fire, you get some reward for it, right? This will cause retribution, and then maybe light tackle. So, for example, they're on fire, you hit stand heavy kick, you can dash up, you crouch heavy punch, and then you got other things you can do there. I don't like the tackle enders. I'm just doing it just to just to demonstrate. Because the tackle enders are not going to give you advantage. I think when you juggle tackles, you have less advantage than you would in round. Yeah, that's +14. You cannot dash up there. It's just like an EX tackle. EX tackle advantage is even worse. But yeah, stand heavy kick. I think it's for anti-air. I think it's for anti-airs and juggles. So if they jump and they're right about here, it can be okay. But if it's better if they're on fire, right? Then you can get something there with their retribution. But maybe it does put them in a juggle state. So maybe if they're jumping and you activate. Hold on. I just want to see if it's possible. But they are in a juggle state. Probably get forward heavy kick and maybe that. If they're in the right position. Maybe jump medium punch. Yeah, you can get forward heavy kick. I think forward heavy kick would be the right knockdown. I think if you're close enough, you can get this. Yeah, that does work. But that's what I think this heavy kick is for. Other than like for example, it'll cause a lot of juggles. But I forgot the combo here. I can't think of it in the moment. Like you can get 3 uppercuts here, and then heavy kick. So like the final juggle point of this heavy kick is really good. It's really good for that particular portion of it. But as far as neutral kind of weight, potentially have some reward attached to it if there's retribution involved. For the jumps, it's okay. You want crouching heavy punch. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that heavy kick. Crouching heavy kick, it doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. Other than the hard knockdown that it can cause, I haven't looked too deeply into it. But crouch heavy kick activate +8. I think stand heavy punch is no good there. +8 should mean stand medium punch is gonna jail. Yeah, it's okay. You do have plus frames, but nothing like, nothing crazy. You can walk up, stand medium punch a little bit. It makes it safe. It's a sweep. Got a range. I guess you have to talk about the knockdown, right? Dash up +4. That's okay. The back recovery I think is going to be a little bit far away when you're doing it as a poke. Yeah, but it's okay. It's a sweep. I didn't finish forward heavy kick, did I? Dang! Backtrack. Forward heavy kick. This is +4 on hit, so I suggest stand light punch as a link. But if you're doing it too close, then you shouldn't be able to link off of it. And you don't want to do it too close because it's unsafe on block. But if you do want to be aware that you can combo this. And if it counter hits, you can get crouching medium punch at +6. And then retribution. This is challenging to get retribution. Because they need to be on ice, and I think ice is harder. But if you maybe like this, buff ice with the lariat, now forward heavy kick is really powerful because it'll cause the retribution state when it connects. So for example, you buff ice, get this hit confirmed, and then let me turn off these wake up options real quick. So you get the ice buff, you activate off the forward heavy kick that now causes retribution, and now you'll get this juggle. You know what I mean? And then corner carry. I don't know if that's the best combo, but that's a good start. So yeah, that could be good. And then forward heavy kick activate is it's gonna have advantage on its own. This is +12. And again, this move you can use the V trigger 1 and the V trigger 2 will also combo from it at a greater distance, but this will whiff too far. So you have to be careful with that. And it works if they're standing, but not if they're crouching. The projectile portion. Does it? That might not combo at some ranges too. I don't like it. I don't like it. I would just do this if you're close. But then there's some risk involved with that as well because it's unsafe. Yep. Man, this part right here. I need something like right here. Oh man. Kill me. Okay, yeah, forward heavy kick. And yeah, that's in combination with stand medium kick activate. If they're close enough, you can do that. Buff fire, and you have a good knockdown here. Yeah, back heavy kick is pretty straightforward. It's ice. It's better than crouching heavy punch in terms of dealing with people who are jumping like as a cross up. It's somewhat fast. I think it's 9, 8, somewhere around there. Crouching heavy punch is 7, but really like the later active frames are what's anti-airing, so it's more like 8, 9. It's about the same. Just different distances and different mental preparedness. And they're both ice. So if you have fire buffed and they jump, I still have to research what you do here. But this is going to cause retribution. And if you get a retribution crouching heavy punch, and you're willing to spend the bar here, you can actually get this, do this, and then that's going to give you a hard knockdown. I don't know if I love it yet, but we're going to talk about that maybe now. The overhead, forward heavy punch. Yeah, I think that's next, and then crouching heavy punch itself. That's gonna be the good stuff. So forward heavy punch is an overhead, and it's also plus on block and leaves you in throw range, which is really good because he also has a 3 frame. So if this hits, you can frame trap with crouching jab. I'm actually not sure if you're in range to follow up with it. No, I don't think so. So you're in range, but you need this to counter hit. And if it counter hits, it's only going to be +5. So I think you either throw or hit crouching jab here. It's not like that big of a deal. Honestly, if you get hit by this overhead, you might want to get the... You might even take the counter. Because this is only going to be +5 and nothing is really going to reach after that. So after overhead, you might want to mash. Honestly, I think so, because I can't really convert here. Unless that combo's on counter hit. Let me see. How about this? Not even that. Bummer. So 3-frame characters will have a decent answer post overhead. But there's some other things you can do with the overhead that are interesting too. So when this overhead does counter hit, it's +3. It's actually +3 on hit. So you can link crouching light punch into a lariat. That's pretty okay. You still don't get a whole lot. But if they have an element, you can do the overhead. I guess it has to be ice. Because if they're on fire, you're gonna cause retribution with this. So if they are on ice, and then you counter hit with this, you could do fire off of the crouching jab, counter hit, and then that's gonna cause retribution. And I don't think you can get crouching heavy punch after the light tackles when they cause retribution. So maybe we'll talk about that later. I'm still figuring out a lot of this myself. So yeah, overhead. Now when they have when they're in the fire state, it's going to cause retribution because this is an ice attack. So it causes a hard knockdown, and that is excellent. There's quite a few things you can do with this. This is where people are using V trigger 2, and they are putting down the carpet, neutral, and then they cross up with the, forgot how to do it because I never use it. So like they're on fire, the activation, this, Iceland, and then these knees can determine whether they have to block it high or low. And I guess now's not a bad time to talk about that. So this move, when they're getting up off the ground, they can backdash, and it will hit them as they're backdashing. It won't hit them meaty. They can use armor moves against it, and it won't interrupt the armor. They parry. Gill can parry it. And 3-frame invincible moves can also go through it. But not all of them are helpful. So you might do something that's invincible or have armor, and then it goes through that. But maybe Gill can still punish you. So we have to like frame by like case by case, see what works and what doesn't. So jump is on your left thumb. I'm busy right now, Diamond. Trying to make a tutorial over here. Okay. So yeah, there's a couple things you can do off of this overhead when it retributes. You have a lot of advantage. If you have V skill 1, if you build a V skill and dash up, you can have advantage off of that. I believe you can do it to like +3 or +6. I forgot. So you can get a meaty meteor. That's +3. When I dash up, I'm +3. So the V skill is gonna hit like an assist. But the problem with V skill 1, not really a problem, but there's very low hit stun block stun on top of it. They're not in hit stun very long. But this can be useful where parry isn't, because if it connects, you're gonna build some bar. Where parry, you're required for them to hit you to build up your feed bar. But yeah, back to the overhead. There's a couple setups I have with this. You can tackle twice, build a meter, and you get to +5, I think, if you do it correctly. So 2 tackles, lariats. That's gonna take a while. 2 lariats +5, not bad. That means stand light kick is gonna hit meaty if I do it correctly. But there was something goofy going on with this. Yeah, that's meaty, and I think you can link crouching heavy punch. But I just wanna, that's like an example of how much time you have during this. You might even be able to do the knee drop and side switch, right? Side switch and build meter at the same time. That was +22. That seems okay. That seems okay. And then there's a safe jump. Stand light punch, dash up, neutral jump. This is a safe jump. 4-frame safe jump. So if Sakura does her 4-frame reversal, I just messed it up. Restart. If she does her 4-frame reversal, I can block it. Same with her critical art. And then, you know, she does her 3-frame wake up. It's gonna win. And yep, that is a 4-frame safe jump. That's pretty much all I've looked into for Gill's hard knockdowns. I'll probably do more research with that knockdown, crouching heavy kick when it causes the hard knockdown, and then you have some combos that lead into it. I'm not sure if they're worth it just yet, but this is gonna have a different advantage because you're juggling them from the air. So there's gonna be a different setup involved for 4-frame. But I think that's pretty much it. You would want a meaty, like medium punch, so you can link it to crouch heavy punch without counter hit. That's one idea. Or a meaty overhead. Actually, I think I came up with a setup for a meaty overhead. It was. Yeah, that's a meaty overhead +5. So let's see. And then you can target combo if you're close enough. But there's probably a better setup I can find there to get the overhead to be closer. I just want to show an example of being +5 on counter for the overhead. So in the corner you can see like this, and then +5 counter hit, target combo. It's alright. It's gonna be a little bit safer on block. It's alright. But the frame kill involved is a pretty big tell. So I think we gotta have a better frame kill than that. Unless we can do something like this. What was it? Like this, and then dash up. I'm +7, and then go low. That could be okay. So, for example, I pretend like I'm doing the overhead and then go low and then activate. That could be okay. It's not bad. But that's just the idea there. I don't know why I'm alt-tabbing again. Is that it for the normals? I think crouching heavy punch is the next thing to talk about. So crouching heavy punch is anti-air. You can link off of it on counter hit, stand medium punch. You can link off of it with a standing light kick. If you're just doing it as a meaty, you can use the EX fireball to keep it safe, just like Urian. This is +1, but it's a little bit unresourceful if you're just throwing it out there. But you can confirm this on block or hit, right? Choose one or the other. If it hits, just continue to do the combos. But what's really important about this crouching heavy punch? There's a lot of B&B opportunities here, depending on if they have retribution or not. I haven't fleshed it out yet. I do know that, well, I think my current suggestion is the medium fireballs if you don't have retribution. And the reason why is I think this is a little more consistent. I think you want to do forward heavy kick as an ender. Like if there's nothing else involved, I think you want to do forward heavy kick. You can also link light tackle. Oh, excuse me. That's the old stuff. I want to do ice. I think ice is better for now. I think I like that for a combo, but that's not good for Oki. Ice, even without EX, ice and fire still have that more damage, more stun kind of relationship. Ice is going to do more stun. So if I'm focusing in the early parts of the match, I think I want to build more stun. So I like this better as a bread and butter. I'm still not using it in matches, but I'm working on it. I think this is better for now. As long... Does this work? Yeah, medium ice. I think that's going to help for the anti-air part. This is still under construction. I don't like that. Still under construction, but the possibilities here are interesting. Yeah, I guess you don't want to do tackle if it's in the air. I think it should work though. Yeah, it just depends on how it hits. So I think the first thing to learn with crouching heavy punch is just this. It's a forward heavy. Unless you want to buff whether they're on fire or ice, and I think you use the fireball to do that. You with me? So if I want them to be on fire, I would do, I think, you know, either medium and heavy together or light and heavy together. I don't want retribution yet. I guess you have to do medium and heavy together. If I want them to be on fire and I want a good knockdown off a forward heavy kick, that's what I do. You with me? So if I want them to be well fire, forward heavy kick, and then I go for a confirm here, now that's going to cause retribution. You know what I mean? Rather than doing this to tackle and then EX tackle, because that knockdown sucks. So I do this, forward heavy kick, and then Oki. You got it? You got what I'm saying? Or for ice, I don't know. I don't know yet. And then heavy kick. Okay. So you do this, ice, heavy kick, knockdown Oki. And now you got heavy punch retribution. You know what I'm saying? So I think the crouching heavy punch into the EX projectile and then use the same element so that they're still in that element. You have a good knockdown. And then the next thing that you confirm will have the retribution effect. You have the opportunity for that. And now your tackle, your lariats are not gonna suck when you knock them down with it, because you'll get a juggle state and you can hit forward heavy kick, stand heavy kick. So there's a lot to think about there. And then if they're on fire and then you hit crouching heavy punch, this juggle changes. You can still do that without like V-trigger activation. I don't know. I'm still trying to put all this together. But if they're on fire and they jump and you get this anti-air crouch heavy punch, you can use that medium fireball and probably do more stuff. I think that's it for crouching heavy punch. On block, you can kind of use the knee to make it safe if you don't have any meter. The knee is -2 on block, but there's obviously a big gap between the crouching heavy punch and the kick. But if they're trying to punish your crouch heavy punch, you might punish them. So it's something. And you might be able to use this as a side switch, probably punishable, but maybe it gets you out the corner. I'm not a big fan. I don't know how to use this move. I mean, he says useless, and it kind of makes me feel like he knows what he's talking about. So you can use this to build meter. I'm a little bit stumped. I'm not stumped, but there's not a whole lot of utility to it. There is and there isn't. But I don't know. Maybe we'll get to that later. What is good about it is the corner carry you can get off of EX. So while we're on that subject of crouching heavy punch, I think you can get this, right? There's a way to do it so you get like the right juggle. But this is pretty much good for the corner carry. I'm not doing the right combo that you can do this for. There's a way you can do it. I forgot how you do it. Something like this. Or was it the other variation? I forget. There we go. There we go. That has a lot of corner carry, but I don't know if I like this. And then they're gonna be on fire, so then I can do ice. Yeah, this is probably gonna give you more corner carry. This is 2 meters I'm investing just for this combo. Okay, let me give it one more shot, and then if not, I'll just... What? Am I doing it wrong? One more shot. Well, I think you get the idea. There's ways to make it hit, and then you can combo after it. But other than that, like in neutral and knockdown, it seems to have limited use. There are setups that give it plus frames if you do it meaty enough. Those setups might be hard to come by. Yeah, just one more. But yeah, that's about it for crouching heavy punch, I think. You can also do crouching heavy punch fireball and activate. That's good. I feel like I talked about the V triggers enough just going through the normals, haven't I? Yeah, crouching, this is the party starter. In my opinion for Gill, this is the big party starter. Just activate off of this. This is really what has been accelerating my Gill in ranked, just by knowing how to do this and when. But I guess as far as the V triggers are concerned, I want to emphasize that... Oh, what's going on here? I want to emphasize... What? What's going on with my combo, man? Oh, I'm using ice. You can still do this with ice, I'm just doing the wrong one. So then with ice, you would do the medium ice right here. And then fire tackle, I guess? No, I guess this only works with one. Okay. Alright, I'm starting to ramble. There we go. You're right, I'm using ice. And this is corner carry. I like this combo a lot. I think this is the one I'm gonna go to. Yeah, I've already demonstrated this with V-Skill 1. I've already demonstrated this whole idea. Oh, this is really good against projectiles. And it has like so many points of durability. And there's actually a weird audio file that if they get counter hit while they're doing something, it'll say game over. I don't know why this is in the game, and I feel like it's intentional. I feel like it's like an Easter egg. So that won't say it, but I hit it right. Wow, that was a counter hit. It'll work against Sakura? Oh, no game over. What? It worked with Ryu. But the point of this, I think, is to dominate the fireball war. This also absorbs fireballs, and then you can use this to go back into throwing this. So you can destroy their fireball, go to ice, go to V-Skill, go to their ice, V-Skill, ice, and then boom. So maybe this is a good time to talk about this projectile part. So when this part hits, you cannot follow up, right? Pretty sure about that. What? Nice! You can, but not if this first part hits, right? Yeah. If this first part hits, you cannot follow up. But if only the projectile hits, you can follow up with it, but it's gonna be hard to catch up to them. Yeah, that's good. So there's a corner, I can do that. Yeah, that's good. Other than that, you get a great knockdown off of this. You can use it to control neutral. I think better than with V-Trigger 2. I think you can control neutral better with this. I actually don't know how projectiles interact with the lance, but the lance, I don't know if it's called lance or not, but the neutral heavy punch plus heavy kick does not give you a good knockdown unless it causes retribution, and then it gets a wall bounce. But as for V-Trigger 1, that's pretty much it, I think. You can kind of use this as an anti-air. It's not incredible, but you can. It's possible. But then let me talk about this. If this causes retribution, then you get a really good juggle state here. I'm not sure what you would do off of this though. Probably get. I have no idea. You probably get something good. So then maybe this combined with this, and then I don't know, whatever. Actually, you could probably buff red fireball here. So you get this target combo. I'll probably throw this one up. Maybe not. I don't want to laugh too much while I'm making this video. It's long enough already. Oh yeah, there you go. Probably this one, the medium one. So we have them on ice. Let me just give it another go around. Oh my bad. So ice. Like this fireball, retribution, maybe light tackle. I think maybe you see where I'm going. And the same is true for this. So probably at a distance. If they are on ice, and then you hit it with this. Okay, maybe not. So ice. This. Oh yeah. So that kind of works. Oh, but this reminds me, one important thing is that you can't rebuff their elemental state. So if you have them on fire, and then you do an ice EX move, it's not going to ice them. It's just gonna cause retribution, and then they're gonna have no state. Important. Okay, man, this is a lot of stuff. I feel like this is the character. I think I got most everything covered. So V-Trigger 2 we'll briefly explore. And I mentioned already forward heavy kick into this, but you don't get a good knockdown off of this. But that's one thing it has over V-Trigger 1, and of course the set play, right? So like you juggle off of something, let's do this, and then maybe retribution forward heavy kick. So I want to do ice here, then like this, right? And then like this. No, I want the lance. There's plenty of ideas here for setups. I've seen like throws in the corner, that kind of thing. This is gonna be the set play V-Trigger. It's gonna be good too. I don't think it's gonna have as much corner carry as V-Trigger 1. Or like the neutral dominance as V-Trigger 1, but this is gonna be a good set play robbery V-Trigger for sure. So like this, ice. Okay, ice, and then not that, but this. There we go, something like that. Retribution, and then buff the low the low part of it, and then they're gonna wake up and die. And we've gone over the options. Yeah, so this is gonna be super good in the corner too. I've seen where there's like a throw. I saw Dinka Diaz put one down, and then you throw, and then when they get up, when they get from under the throw, it explodes. It's gonna be set play V trigger for sure. Is that it? We can do questions. I'm satisfied with this 1 hour long Gill video. 1 hour 10 minutes. Surprised I haven't ran out of hard drive space. So yeah, let me know character specific questions. I'm gonna not break down eventually for stuff. I haven't got to. I think I got 5 more characters to do. Are you joking? Is he tournament viable? Come on, man. Is this going for YouTube? Yeah. His throw. That's a good point. His throw doesn't give you much Oki at all. That's plus 10 and really far away, so it absolutely resets the neutral. This is kind of like for me. I need to see like if I back throw if I get anything. Plus 9. Yeah, his throw is not very good in terms of Oki. But back throw in the corner is good. Back throw in the corner like this, that's good. You're plus 9. That actually frame traps, but that ain't too good. His throw ain't too good. Can I at least get crushing heavy kick, medium kick? I don't think anything's in range for that. It's almost like back throw is better. Dang, you get nothing. Nash's viability? Maybe later. I don't know. You know, I used to ban the word viable. I used to have the word viable in tier banned in chat. I feel like they're not very good. Viable. What up, showing up? Will his Pyron costume be banned? No, man. If Rashid's airman costume isn't banned, for sure it's gonna be fine. Is my back feeling better?
Call me.
Are Five Guys burgers viable? They're a little bit too pricey for how good they are. They should be like a little bit more than McDonald's burgers, but not like $8-9. Hey, what up, MSZ? Does that long range kick reach? It'll reach, but it won't frame trap. So they should be able to just back away. Plus 10, and the forward heavy kick is 15. So it's Can you come up with a Gill pun name? I say Gill's will. You know, they say God's will or God's plan. I got Gill's will. If I hit crouching medium punch and they block it, that's all part of Gill's will. If it gets hit, then yeah, that's also Gill's will. Throw them into the low freeze trap. It'll work. It'll work. The same thing. Based on your observation of other characters and tools, since you're what? Huh? You mean like Nash? Nash is probably going to be the same. I think a lot of the characters are going to be the same. Except for Cody and Laura. They got big buffs. And Balrog got some big buffs too, but he's probably going to have the same problems. Is Gill viable?
Call me Lord and Emperor.
Oh, Gilligan. I need Skipper. Ice ball, fireball into sweet. What, after the throw? There's way too much time in between. Sagat is better. I think Gill's better than Sagat. I think Gill's better than Sagat. And I just think about like drills, Cammy drill. If I am super sharp and uppercut Cammy's drill, it drains like my in real life bar. I don't get any Oki, and I gotta put a lot of effort into uppercutting it. But if I parry her drill, Oki, I get more damage, more stun, Oki, oh. But Sagat's better. Sagat, much better than it used to be. That V skill 2 is pretty good. Okay. I'm a Gill man. Okay, I think we're good. Thanks for watching my hour and 14-minute long YouTube video about how to play Gill and what we've done so far. I hope you learned something. I'm AutoMattock. I don't know why, but I feel embarrassed. Like there's a war between my Twitch, viewers and YouTube viewers. Anyways, Thanks for watching. I'm Automatic Beast. But wait, is he viable?